All right. Well, welcome back. We're going to be reading and discussing Sonnet 23 by William Shakespeare. First, let's have Justin, our friend Justin Scalise, you said?
Scalise.
Justin Scalise will be reading, and then maybe we'll have him give it a little bit of his thoughts on the poem, and then Anne and I will have our thoughts.
As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength's abundance weakens his own heart, so I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rite, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, o'ercharged with burden of mine own love's might. Oh, let my books be then the eloquence and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Oh, learn to read what silent love hath writ. To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit. Well, he's saying I'm not so smooth, in trying to talk to you, but I'm a little bit smoother in putting it down on paper. And so he's saying, while I can't express in person for you how much I love you and admire you, if you read the poems that I've written for you, then you'll know my heart. You'll know how I truly feel. So I think there's something that a lot of us relate to with that as well. We sometimes we feel better sitting down to write an email, to express our thoughts, or writing a text rather than talking to someone on the phone. So, I think that's actually very timely.
So, Anne, do you like to work with unperfect actors on the stage?
And I just love this because it's the first sonnet in the series in which Shakespeare talks about his job, because he himself was an actor.
Yeah.
And he talks about an unperfect actor. Now, in modern times, we would say imperfect.
Yeah.
But he's saying the actor's afraid. He's afraid he's going to forget his part. And it's just, I think it's wonderful because it's so personal, but gives us a little insight into Shakespeare as being himself imperfect. Again, I keep thinking of him as a genius, but his vulnerability is part of what makes him so attractive, I think.
And well, geniuses are humans too, for sure. But is this actually about an actor, or is it okay? So you're not saying there's anything at all about a lover. He's not talking to a lover at all, and he's like just an actor on a stage.
No, he's not. No, right.
He's talking about actually being at the theater, the whole process, not just as an analogy. I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think it is an analogy.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So it is an analogy. He is talking about like as an analogy, as a comparison to when I'm in front of a woman or a woman's in front of a man. You're acting in a sense, right? Like a date in a sense.
Well, you're hoping to speak in a way. He says, oh, let my books that be then the eloquence of and dumb presagers of my speaking breast. So, and that's sort of beautiful in the sense of when you feel that emotion of love, it's almost like you can't put it into words, right? You want to say it, but it's like and that's a wonderful aspect of Shakespeare, because sometimes I think of Shakespeare as diffident, meaning he's a little standoffish. He doesn't want to express all that he feels. And here that's what he's saying. I feel so much that I can't really even put it into words.
And that's a really good encapsulation of love and passion itself, because we've all felt that in general, where there's like it's so intense, and one, I think you don't want to come across as too intense. And I think he says that here somewhere, right? Or he indicates that, so I for fear of trust forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's right. Okay, so that's actually about just not saying the right things. But I guess what's the cause of him saying the wrong things? To learn to read what silent love hath writ, To hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit.
So he's hoping
More
that
than
his
the ti-
poems
Yeah.
will give you some idea
Of how he really feels.
that he can't even say it's so
Yeah.
that his love is so intense and so great. It's just a lovely.
Yeah, it makes me think of like Cyrano de Bergerac,
Uh-huh.
the sequence like when Christian is talking to Roxanne and he's trying to, and she's like, "Give me a love poem," right? Or, give me,
Yeah.
go on that theme. He's like, "You're so beautiful," and like he doesn't have the words, but he has to rely on the man with the words. In a sense, Shakespeare is both, and we all have kind of both, where we may not have all the right words to say, we don't feel like we do in the moment, or even know how to say it, but we feel it so intensely. And do you think he's saying that there's something about he wants to write, like, I have written these things, I know about them, I just don't know how to convey them at the moment, in this moment.
It's so intense.
It's so intense. That's what I was thinking.
That's what it's expressing.
More than that tongue that hath more, that more hath more expressed. More than that tongue that more hath more expressed.
Yeah.
What does that mean? More than that tongue that more hath more expressed. Who plead for love and look for, this is an interesting one. Who plead for love. So this is about the books, speaking about eloquence coming from his heart. More than that tongue. So more than his tongue is able to do,
Yes.
and more than it's able to express.
Yes.
And then he's the last two lines, which answers the rest of the poem. Oh, learn to read what's silent. Excuse me. What's silent love. So now that's to her. He's saying to her, I'm all these imperfect things. I hope you can read
Right.
the silent love with that love hathereth. To hear with eyes.
So you
belong to
can
love.
see it in me.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
Anything else?
That's
Anything else for
great.
Sonnet
No,
23?
that's great.
All right. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.